Hi, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Today's episode, we're going to be reviewing two sort of setting books for Call of Cthulhu. They have published a series of Secrets of books that you can get your hands on. Other ones have included, or earlier versions included, Cairo Guidebook, London Guidebook. More recently, you've had Secrets of New York, Secrets of San Francisco, Secrets of Japan, and these two, which I'll be reviewing, the Secrets of Los Angeles and the Secrets of Kenya. One thing to point out is these are both 1920s era games. Although you could, with a little work, scale some of these ideas up to modern or scale them back to Victorian, depending on the era of Cthulhu you like to play in most. I'll talk about these individually. To start with, Secrets of Kenya. Probably the biggest backstory you can get on Kenya is in Masks of Nyarlathotep, where one of the chapters is actually set in Kenya. And I think that was really one of the springboards for this particular book. One of the nice things about this is it's Kenya, it focuses in there, but it's a lot of Africa too. This was the Dark Continent, known as the Dark Continent in Victorian era and the 1920s, because there was a lot of mystery about it. It was very fanciful. A lot of pulps were written about things that were buried in the heart of the Congo or down the Nile. So this is a really great opportunity to look at that through the lens of the Cthulhu mythos. So this is a really good book if you want to set stuff in Kenya where things are still very wild. The cults, if they're still there, are very wild and much more dangerous, in my opinion, than the modern cults, because, I mean, your average modern cultist isn't going to come running at you with a big knife down the street because that would attract too much attention. Whereas in Kenya, in the 1920s, they could possibly get away with it. So, Secrets of Kenya, very interesting depth to the nation. I had never really thought much about playing in Kenya until I started reading through this and I realized all the opportunities that were there. Everything that was there that was really interesting to go with. So I would recommend getting your hands on this if you like a wilder setting for your Call of Cthulhu. If you want a less prim and proper East Coast Arkham Cthulhu investigations. If you want to get something more, if you want to get your hands dirty investigating the mythos, this is a great way to do it. Second book we're going to talk about, Secrets of Los Angeles. Now, what this does is it takes 1920s LA, where movies were just really starting to boom, back when it was still called Hollywoodland, back when it was still this really mysterious sort of exciting place in America, and it really sees a lot of it through the lens of the Cthulhu mythos. It gives you the ideas for cults, it gives you ideas for how to tie in gangsters, who were still very prominent in that era, because this is still Prohibition. It gives you a certain Cthulhu mythos backstory for California and the Western Coast, why there are critters running around there, and why it's such a dangerous place to be. I like this one. I've never really thought of running a Cthulhu game in LA. I have a couple adventures set there. One of the best pagan publishing adventures from Mortal Coils is set in LA in a movie, filming a movie. It's one of the most obtuse and hard to get through too, but it's a really great read. This is a really interesting setting I never thought about. To be honest, reading through this, I wasn't seeing as much of a 1920s Cthulhu adventure as I was seeing something a bit more rollicking, like maybe a 1920s Angel game, for example, set in Los Angeles at the dawn of a lot of what we currently consider LA to be. You know, we think of LA, we think of these jaded starlets, we think of these big mansions, we see things like from Citizen Kane, yet at the same time, a lot of the people in LA at the time had Midwestern values. A lot of certain amount of modesty involved with it. So it's very much a city of juxtapositions that way. I really like both of these books. Both of them bring something different to the table that would be very interesting and very useful to use in your Call of Cthulhu game. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact us at knwiegel@yahoo.com. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.